we are going back to something I've not done for a while, actually. Something's off. Can I even still do it? It's only been about 10 or 15 minutes, and already I'm kind of panicking. We're going to get these issues that I've just showed you. Let's Resin, please fix this. It's just a shame. It really is. Right, we are back, and we are going back to something I've not done for a while, actually. Can I even still do it? It's been such a long time. I think the last time I tried this was we did an experiment using some dish soap. What we're going back to is the Petri. I just fancied doing a really chilled out video, and I'm seeing a lot more Petri on. I'm going to talk about this as well on some Facebook groups. Now, I spent a few evenings going on Facebook and going through some of the old resin groups that I used to post in, and it's shocking how much they've kind of declined in activity. And I did a post, you might have seen it on my business page, reaching out to people to see if they'd noticed this also. Yeah, some of the groups, the really big groups, have just, it's like there's no one posting. So yeah, I think what we need to do is kind of support these groups and go back into them. If you're still doing resin art, obviously you're here watching this video. Try and, if you can, try and, we need to somehow jumpstart these, resuscitate these resin art groups by interacting a bit more. Now, some people did reach out and said they stopped posting in these groups because there were some nasty comments on their posts and some bullying and stuff like that. I mean, the admins do try and keep up with stuff like that, but if you do see that kind of stuff, always report it to the admin team. But there are some. There's a new group that I didn't even know. A guy called Justin Sully, I think his name is. Let me just double check that. Justin Sally, not Sully. Sorry, Justin. I have seen some of Justin's work in the past. He does some really nice Petri. Yeah, he's got a really good group, so I highly recommend going over to this group and joining up, like, now. And this is the actual Facebook group itself. You see it's got 78,000 members, but it's a really active group. So go over there and definitely jump in there, and you'll see some incredible pieces of work. But yeah, highly recommend this group. Right, anyway, onto this video. Let's Resin have sent me a whopping box. I mean, I've never owned this set before, so to me this is new. There's 48 inks in there. There are, I think there's 3 blacks and 3 Sinker whites in there as well. I'm not going to be able to test all of these in one video because there's just so many. But yeah, what I do, just check the link out and you'll see all the colours. There's a lot of new colours that I've never seen in there, like cranberry, for instance. I've never seen that one before. Orchid. There's so many colours. Again, I can't go through them all. But you do get 3 bottles of the Sinker white. I need to find them. There we go. So these are the C deeper Sinkers. There is a different Sinker white that Let's Resin do, but that Sinker, it's not in this set. It's heavier, so you get longer spores and potentially blobs. So these are the safer ones. So with this video, I'm going to probably just pick out some colors that I've never used, I've never seen, and then I'm going to have to pierce all of the nibs ready to go. I don't particularly want to sit here and do all 48 bottles. And then yeah, I'm going to see if I can still do this magic. Okay, so I've grabbed a handful of new colours that I've not used before. You might well have. But there's one here, I really think this orchid is going to be a risky colour. It reminds me of the peach red that tends to muddy quite badly with other colours. And this is... this is a little devil for staining moulds, this colour. So yeah, I'm not using that one today, but I think this one could be a little bit risky. I've also picked out 2 of my old favourites from my old sets. I'm glad they kept these in there. Cerulean, I got through more of this than any other colour. It's such a nice colour, and a sapphire blue. So I do need to pierce the lids, and the best thing to do if you're new to this is don't do it over the top of a mould. You want to put a piece of tissue down and take off your lid, and with a pin we're going to go right in the middle and push it straight down, like so. Now, if I go pulling that out, the chances are it's going to squirt and explode ink everywhere, which is again why you don't want to do it near a mold. So the best way is to wrap a piece of tissue around the top and then pull that pin out so it's not going to spray everywhere. There we go, we've got a nice clean hole ready to go, no mess. So now we have our colours prepped. This one is also really important. You can see this single white, which gives us the Petri effect. All of the pigments, it's all stuck at the bottom where it's been sat in the box, so you really need to shake these up. Ordinarily I use mine, as most of you know, in a different type of bottle with some bearings in the bottom to make it easier, but I'm just going to stick with the out of the box Cinca white. But you really do, even after shaking it, you can still see that pigment at the bottom. So a good 5 minutes or so, and then we'll also shake it before we use it. Just get it really mixed up. It's one of the big problems that a lot of people have doing this, is that they don't shake their bottles enough. They think it's mixed properly, but it's not. So they get really varied results in their Petri effect. The other extremely important thing is the type of epoxy that you're using. We all know this collab resin, what happened is that Let's Resin changed the formula years ago, and it completely messed up the Petri effect with the Cinca white. And luckily Let's Resin agreed to keep the original Petri style formula that worked, and they did this collaboration with myself. So it's a medium viscosity epoxy, and this is the perfect epoxy in my opinion for the Petri art. Some of you may have been using different ones alongside the Cinca white, the CC Deeper. Let us know in the comments, because this might not be available to everyone, but there is a really important thing that I need to discuss or talk to you about this. When you go onto the Amazon for this collab resin, you'll see here there's a large. This large is not the same formula as the small. I don't understand why Let's Resin have done this. I have asked them to kind of separate these two listings, but for some reason they're together, and it's quite confusing because some people, I've read the reviews, are buying this thinking this is the collab resin, but it's not. The only collab resin is this style box and label with the Petri effect on it, and those are my pictures from old videos. Yeah, you need this one, not the other one. Let's Resin, if you're watching, please separate those listings. And also, what I think they could do is do a bundle set. I've seen they've got some bundle sets with this new 48 box of inks. They could do some bundles with this epoxy, because for those that want to do the Petri effect, that bundle would, I think, be a good seller. So let's get mixing. Okay, so my resin is now mixed. I did 1 ounce, 1 fluid ounce of part A and 1 fluid ounce of part B. So I can now pour that into the cavities that I want to use. So you'll see where my white has been sitting for, well, whilst I was mixing my resin, it started to already settle in the bottle. So again, we need to just make sure we're keeping this well mixed. So I really want to see what this orchid looks like once it hits the resin. So there is no waiting. Once you've mixed your resin and poured it, just go straight away with your inks. Now, if your epoxy is a lower viscosity than this medium, and it's a low viscosity resin, you might need to wait 30 minutes before adding your inks, because what will happen is the Cinca white will be too heavy for your resin and it will blob. So it's really important to get this kind of balance between the resin and the Cinca white correct. So I'm going to go in with that, with a cerulean there. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of these, I don't think. I do need to pull my mask back up, but yeah, I am using different colors and we're just going to see what happens. Some of these I might go minimalistic and not. Normally what I try to do is cram in as much colour as I can into each piece, but we of course get an issue where some colours merge together and muddy. So I'm gonna do some really vibrant and cram a bit of colour in, but I'm gonna keep some quite simple. Raspberry. Pear. And cranberry is probably going to be very similar to the other one. Citrus green with dandelion yellow, squirting everywhere. And I think in the middle I'm going to go in with a drop of aqua. Yeah, and I'm just going to drop, and then we'll come back when we go with a sink of white. So you'll see I've crammed quite a bit of colour in there. The first one, what you'll see is that the resin has begun to kind of pull inwards, and there's some negative space. You can always go over and add some more colour to this around the outside, but when you add your sinker as well, it can push the colours back out, so don't panic too much. So I'm just going to fill in some of the gaps, and then we'll drop our sinker white. Now for the sinker white. So we just add that to the colours that we've dropped in. Now I usually add 1 drop of sinker white per drop of colour that I've put in, but you don't have to do that. You can just go in certain areas. It's entirely up to you how kind of busy and opaque you want the piece to be. Is just kind of play around with it. You can just be quite minimalistic with the sinker white. You don't have to go crazy. So with this one I think I'll just go with the 2 drops and just play around. See, the more sinker white that you put on in one place, you're potentially going to add too much and it is still going to sink and blob. So this is what they're looking like. We're going to have some translucency and some kind of empty areas where there's not a sinker white. But if I take you down, you can already see the spores starting to work out. There, you can just see the spores starting to begin to sink and spread really, really nicely. So now I'm just going to wait, leave these for about an hour, which is my usual time. We're going to come back and stir in some designs. Different way to what it usually does. So what I think is that this has somehow changed. The See Deeper is slightly heavier than it usually is. So yeah, it's tricky. I'm not going to run the whole video again, but I am expecting some blobs in certain areas. I know I've thoroughly mixed this in, so it's not user error. I think that this is probably a bit more pigmented than it should be. But again, a way around that, so I know for next time, would be to either add some isopropyl alcohol into this existing bottle, so I know that it's going to be lighter, or I wait 30 minutes before dropping my sinker next time. Okay, so I've just got out the other 2 bottles from the set, because I know it's not something I'm doing wrong. And if you look, there is a difference in the measurement of the alcohol. Okay, it's not a massive difference, but there's a massive difference in the settled titanium dioxide in the bottom, and just that can make a huge difference. It's really tricky. We need these to be spot on, really, really balanced perfectly, because if not, we're going to get these issues that I've just showed you. Let's Resin please fix this. Okay, I'm going to stir these now. It's only been about 40 minutes, but I'm hoping if I stir them now, it's going to drag those spores and prevent. I know some of them have blobbed already, but I'm just hoping we can get a few good ones out of this at least. So I'm just going to do my usual swirls, and hopefully we've got some good ones. Fingers crossed, guys. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and to all our subscribers. This one, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave this one just to see, because I do normally get asked, what if you don't swirl them? So we're going to leave that one. Okay, I've decided to do a little test. So out of the two that we've got left that I haven't used, I'm going to take the one with the less amount in. Now, looking back on the video, the one that I did use looked like it had more pigment than both of these. So what I'm going to try and do is, I mean, I could do it with the other one if I wanted to, but I think that's too much in there. What I'd need to use is a pipette, insert that and suck up some of that titanium dioxide that's already in there. I'm going to go with the bottle that I think I could quite easily fix, and that's got kind of less in there. So what I need to do is carefully remove this nozzle from the actual bottle. I've done this before, they do come off. I'm just going to use my scissors. Hopefully I'm not going to make a mess. Well, I hope they still come off. The old ones used to. Might have to be a bit more hands-on with it. Am I going to pull off the come on. Don't want it to go everywhere. There it goes. Oh. And now I'm going to top that up because there is a bit of space in there. I'm going to top that up with some isopropyl alcohol. I can't find my pipette, so I'm going to have to be very, very careful. And hopefully we can do a comparison. I'm going to pop that back on. There we go. It's a bit dented, but I just want to see. So when I add this sinker now, what we should see is more of a spread on the surface. Whereas when I did them before, I should have said when I did it, it seemed to focus more in one area. Similar to what, what's the sinker white that's too heavy? The Pinata brand. And what that does, that's really thick and it gives you a skin. So when it comes to stirring it, it all clumps up. So we should see a difference. Now that's much better. And you can see them dancing more. You see that? Such a big difference. We should be able to see this ink dance for quite some time. So I'm going to just do the others and then we can do the comparison at the end. Okay, so I've just stirred these ones off camera. You can already see I might have a couple of tiny blobs, but I'm not seeing the big blobbing like I saw in the previous ones. So we'll be back tomorrow for the demold. I'm not saying I'm going to really dislike these, but it's not my style of Petri. Okay, we are all cured. I'm quite nervous. Well, we kind of know what the results are going to be like. Well, especially from the ones that we did first anyway. So we have the new ones, which are these two here and these two down here and this one. So 5. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit that button for me. It is free. Let's check out this one first. It's such a long time since we've done something like this on the channel. It's like Christmas. So this is the one that we didn't stir. So this is your typical kind of Petri effect. And again, guys, I don't dislike it. It's just very, very different to my kind of style. So that's what you get. I mean, you can always keep these in there and back them if you want with a different color. But it is advised to top these up anyway, because you can have a lip around the edge. You can either trim them off or top it up. So I think we're going to go with this pyramid here. Pyramid, triangle. It's quite empty. But there are some really nice spores in there. I'm glad I stirred at the time that I did as well, because I think it prevented a lot of these ones down here from sinking, but we have got some touching. But if this is your kind of thing, then, you know, you haven't got a problem. The trouble is the inconsistency with the inks. You can't guarantee that you're going to get this. I have sent Let's Resin a message. Hopefully they will pick that up and look into the reason why the ratios are different inside the bottles. Let's have a look at this one. Very minimalistic. Kind of spores are only really going to be in the middle. The colours are absolutely incredible. See, this one's not too bad. We've got some touching blobs there. Look at that. It is stunning, actually. I do like that. I must say the colour is stunning. I can't remember which colours I used. Let's go with this one here. So yeah, talking about the Facebook groups earlier, we do need to support those and help them out a little bit more if we can. We've got Resin Beginners, Resin for Beginners are some good ones. The Let's Resin group. There are a few out there. We just need a little bit of a jump start, I think. Look at that. But definitely go and check out Justin's group anyway. Where are we going now? Let's go with these over here. It's looking promising from the back. That's some stunning colour. A little bit of muddying. If I put the black behind it, I'm not sure if that is muddying or whether that is just the colour. Focus. There we go. Moving on. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with this one. I'm trying to save the ones that we did afterwards till last, so we can see a difference. Wow. A couple of small ones touching around the outsides, but not so much in the middle. It's a really nice depth. Guys, to my channel members, I know it's been a very long time since I did any macro for you. So these will be, I will do some macro shots for the channel members in the community tab. Right, where are we going now? Let's go with the bar. Hopefully we've got some nice... It's okay. Let's have a look from the side. Let's see those spores. I love this effect so much. Where we go now, let's go up here. I know this one was one of the first ones that we did. Now that is stunning. That is really nice. I love the stillness in that kind of pinky red. Again, I can't remember the colour. You've got this wave of blue coming up. Maybe with a white background on that one. That's incredible. Right, what do we got? 2 new ones, new one, 2 new ones. Let's go over here then. That blue is gorgeous. I'm loving it. I do love these. Even with the touching blobs. This one here, I think we've got one left after this one, the big round one. It's just a shame. Really is. Right, the big one. The colours are amazing. But again, it's just not my usual style. I prefer to have a bit of control. Right, okay. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. See, this is much better. Much better in my opinion. We've still got some longer spores in there, which you can see from the side. I should have maybe taken some of that pigment out, like I said, with a pipette, but I couldn't find them. But that's the more kind of controlled Petri effect that I love so much. You're at less risk of these sinker spores going too far down and touching. I love the pastel-y effect in that as well. That is gorgeous. Right, let's go with this one up here. I think we're probably going to get some that have touched. There you go. Oh, just there. See that tiny little speck? Or was that in the mould? It could have been a splash from where I've dropped next to it, maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's go with the big one here. If you're struggling with the Petri effect still, I know there are many people out there that are struggling. I've got a whole playlist on the Petri effect, so go and check that out. There's lots of answers to questions. Oh, we've got some touches in there, but the background is stunning. But again, a big improvement just by balancing that out a little bit more. Last two. Let's go with this one. So yeah, I can still do it, but it helps if formulas don't change. I could always just make my own sinker, and that is incredible. It's just a cluster of touching spores there, but it is really pretty. Last one. Did we get anything good with the last one? Much better. You see a couple there, tiny ones, but not really that visible. The colour variation in this is incredible. I love that tiny little curve of red, yellow and green down here. This is what I love about this. Never get the same piece twice. So this is like how my kind of Petri effect is normally. This is an old, very old piece now. And you can see there's kind of no spores coming down. You just get the effect. This is what we want with the C deeper. That perfect balance between the resin and the sinker. It doesn't kind of spore down too much. But again, I don't dislike it. It is really cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. We kind of got around it in the end. This one is phenomenal. Loving that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.